Hello and officially welcome everyone. It's so nice to see some familiar faces and names on the call with us today. Thank you for joining us for this annual report webinar. If you don't know me already, I am Amy Parker, Deputy Executive Director at OpenSSL Foundation. A few other people might join us late, but we want to keep relatively on schedule here, so we're just going to get ourselves started. In January of this year, we published our annual report covering fiscal year 2025. For us, that means the period from August 2024 through July of 2025. If you'd like, you can read the full report online. We'll be dropping a link in the chat. But we also just wanted to host this event to give a bit of a more personal and interactive way to share with you what we've been working on. I promise you we're not going to bore you by reading this full report cover to cover, but instead we're just going to pick out a few of the highlights. As you can see, we are recording the first half of this webinar so that the presentation can be viewed by others later. But after we finish with the formal part of the presentation in about 15 minutes or so, we're going to stop recording and then open this up for a more general Q&A and just casual conversation. A few housekeeping items. First, if you haven't already, please be sure to mute your microphones. Second, especially during the recorded part, you may choose to turn your camera on or off as you prefer. And lastly, if you could, please save your questions for the end of the presentation. With that, let's get started, and I'm going to turn it over to Matt.
Thank you, Amy. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Matt Caswell. I'm the Executive Director of the OpenSSL Foundation. I've been involved with OpenSSL now, well, I started back in 2011, back as a volunteer then. So I was making voluntary contributions for some years until 2014, and then I started to work full-time on the project, initially as a contractor for the corporation until 2024. When the foundation itself started operating as an independent entity. So at that point, I moved over to work for the foundation, where I'm very proud to lead the team in our non-profit focus. So speaking of the team, they're all here with us today, so I'd like them to briefly introduce themselves to you.
Hello, my name is Tomáš Mraz. I am Chief Technology Officer in OpenSSL Foundation. I have been using OpenSSL for many years, since 2000. I've been actively involved with the project since 2015-16 and full-time employee of the project since 2021.
Hello, my name is Richard. I'm a software engineer with OpenSSL Foundation, and I've been with the project since its very beginning, 26 years ago, I think it's by now. And that's it for me.
Hi, I'm John Erickson. I'm the communities manager at OpenSSL Foundation, and I've only been here for about a year, a little over a year.
Hi, my name is Ika. I am software engineer in the foundation. I was connected with the OpenSSL project for about 2 decades and joined the foundation last autumn.
Hello. Hello, I am Daniel Kubec. I'm using OpenSSL library for the decades, and I joined it half a year ago as a full-time employee and trying to contribute as much as I can.
Hello, my name is Ryan Hooper. I work for Fiscal Systems, and 50% of my time is working with the OpenSSL Foundation to help out on areas for them. So I'm a software engineer.
And I guess it's my turn, and I'm.
We're just gonna keep it to the foundation stuff for now. We'll open it up for other people to speak at the end of the session. the 2025 fiscal year was a really important time for the Foundation's history. It was our first full year of operations as an independent entity. So prior to March 2024, we did exist on paper, but we didn't have our own staff, we didn't have our own programs. So we actually technically existed since 2014, but we really came into our own in 2025. So this was a really important year for us. Just to be clear, Amy already mentioned it, but I'll just mention it again. So this report covers the fiscal year, which ran from 1st of August 2024 through until the 31st of July 25. There are, of course, various exciting things that have happened since then, but our focus today is on the period covered by this report. So one of the most important accomplishments of the last year was defining the Foundation's mission. So I should say that this shouldn't be confused with the OpenSSL mission, which covers the whole OpenSSL ecosystem. It covers the corporation, it covers the Foundation and the projects and so on. And we all sign up to that, of course. But the Foundation also has its own mission, which really defines our unique role within the ecosystem, what we do as the Foundation. And of course, it's entirely compatible with the broader OpenSSL mission. So while the corporation focuses on commercial users, our mission at the Foundation is primarily focused on the audiences listed here on this slide. So the non-profits, the academics, the independent developers, and so on. And the heart of our mission is really about serving the public good, and upholding the privacy and security as foundational human rights. So that's really what OpenSSL has always been about, and everything we do at the Foundation is in support of that mission. As you may have noticed, we've also adopted a new logo last year. So we've got this new logo with its prominent sort of double stroke F to emphasize our identity as a non-profit foundation. And if you happen to know any math, then you might recognize the F as a field. We use it in algebraic equations to represent a field. Our logo also incorporates the sort of broader OpenSSL logo used by the rest of the ecosystem, but it sort of emphasizes the Foundation as an independent entity. Now, of course, while OpenSSL is a sort of well-known brand within our close circle of friends, it's not really widely known to the general public. And so for that reason, we wanted to add a tagline that we sometimes use in conjunction with the logo to sort of help people who are maybe encountering OpenSSL for the first time to really kind of get a flavor and understanding of what it is that we do. So I'm going to hand over to John next, who's going to share some highlights about our community.
Hello, everyone, again. I'm really excited to be the OpenSSL project's first ever community manager. And one of the things I'm excited about is building and strengthening our global community. And this is a chart that I think is really exciting because it shows that this is commit authors per month over the last few years. And it shows that our community is growing. And that's really important because a healthy open source project is something that is growing, and we want to be monitoring that and making sure that continues to happen. And then in 2025, we elected representatives for the Business Advisory Committee and the Technical Advisory Committee from our different communities. And some of them are on the call right now. So we saw Randall earlier and several others. And we depend on these folks to service needs and feedback and concerns from the communities that they represent, and to give us input on our roadmap and work plans. And we're really grateful for the time they spend engaging with our community and representing our community, and the time that they spend improving the OpenSSL software.
Yeah, and as part of that, we've been fortunate to travel to some important meetings and events this year. FOSDEM is one of the big ones. It's really a big highlight, and we're glad to have been there both last year and this year. And we've also had a couple of meetups with some of the other OpenSSL projects. There's Bouncy Castle and CryptLib, with whom we collaborate on different initiatives.
As for the development of the OpenSSL library, which is still our primary focus, our report highlights the 2 new OpenSSL library releases that came out during the 2025 fiscal year. These are the versions 3.4 and 3.5. As we are now on a time-based release policy, you can expect 2 new releases every year. That they should happen in April and October. The biggest library news of last year was the addition of post-quantum cryptography, so-called PQC, which we were able to incorporate just a few months after those PQC algorithms were standardized. In addition to serving as a Chief Technology Officer, I'm also a treasurer of OpenSSL Foundation, and I prepared the financial information in the annual report. As shown in the first graph, OpenSSL Corporation is our single largest funder. We are a fully independent organization, but we work closely with the corporation to jointly manage the OpenSSL library, and we are grateful for their financial support. The majority of our expenses are spent on OpenSSL Foundation staff as payroll expenses. Last year, our expenses exceeded our revenue, and we relied on our cash reserves to make up the difference. Our hope is that this will become less necessary in future years as our fundraising program continues to develop. As explained in more detail in the document, the revenue numbers in the report don't include other historic reserve funds that are currently held for us by the corporation. We are still working through some final details around these reserves and plan to share more information about that in next year's report.
On the fundraising side, we especially wish to thank our premier supporters. These are the funders that contribute extremely generous support of $100,000 and above. Chief among them, OpenSSL Corporation, which, as Tomasz just mentioned, provided the majority of last year's support. Our other premier supporters last year were Sovereign Tech Fund and FLOSS Fund. We were extremely proud to be part of FLOSS Fund's first ever tranche of investments to support our ongoing software engineering work. This is really crucial funding for us because it's unrestricted in its use, meaning that we can use it for the day-to-day maintenance of the software, which is really essential. We also received a very large investment from Sovereign Tech Agency to do 2 things. The first is addressing a backlog of user-submitted GitHub issues, and the second is enhancing timing side channel resistance in the Bignum code. That support from Sovereign Tech was committed at the tail end of our prior fiscal year, which means that it's actually right now, this year, that we're doing that work, and you'll be hearing more about it from us in the coming months. We also want to thank all of our other supporters, including the Code Protectors, which is our corporate sponsorship group, providing vital annual funding for our core operations. Last year's supporters were Bloomberg, NetApp, Comcast, which specifically supported some work on DTLS 1.3, Sakura Internet, Babil, which is now Conet Deutschland, Mercedes-Benz, SAP, and SFTP+. Thank you. Although revenue from individual donors is still a very small part of our revenue, we are really grateful for every single person who makes gifts to us, either through the donation form on our website or as a GitHub sponsor. It is really meaningful, and every dollar counts when you're a small nonprofit. As a reminder, what you're looking at here is history. If you want to see our current supporters and who the current list is, please visit our website.
Okay, so that was a really quick run through of last year's highlights. I do hope you'll have a look at the full report, which you can find on our website. and there is a link for that in the chat right now. So we're going to move on to Q&A in just a moment, but before I do that, I just want to thank you all again for attending, and also thanks everyone who's watching the recording. We do rely on our community for everything that we do. You know, your code contributions keep OpenSSL library strong and secure, and your financial donations power our work. So thank you for being part of our community.